Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome into First Pitch for Tuesday. I am Drew Martin, joined by Dave Koken and Brian Leonard of WagerTalk.com. We're breaking down 3 games on tonight's slate. We got best bets at the end. We're talking Astros and Rays, Twins and Royals, followed by the nightcap here, the Cardinals on the West Coast against the Padres. Getting into it first here, heading to the Sunshine State, Dave. We get the Houston Astros, Tampa Bay Rays, Cristian Javier versus Shane McClanahan, the lefty going for the Rays. Really good pitching matchup here, Dave. Total 6.5, minus 150. That's the Rays. You liking anything in the trop tonight, Dave Koken?
Yeah, I'm seeing 6 in that. Look, the Astros are off Champagne last night. I don't want them. I don't know what the lineup's going to look like. McClanahan looked great in his first start off the IL, so he's back in good health. The game means more to the Rays. I'd like to give you a lot more information on this, but really don't know the situation as far as who's playing for the Astros or not, and don't care to play on teams that are coming off celebrations. So I'll give you the Rays. I think I'm priced out in the game in all likelihood. Too much to I'm priced to bet, but that would be the only way I would play here is Tampa Bay.
Okay, and Brian, coming to you next, to Dave's point, they just clinched their division yesterday. What the Astros have been able to do there, 5 of the last 6 years, maybe it's 6 of the last 7 winning the division. I mean, their dominance is really showing over the last half decade here, Brian. But to Dave's point as well, it's kind of a unique handicap because you got to bring the fact that they just won it yesterday, 4-0 win, and the champagne was flowing like you referenced. Yep. So, hey, but that might actually bring an advantage over the betting markets tonight. Do you see it that way, Brian?
Yeah, as Dave pointed out, we don't know what the Astros lineup is going to be, but I prefer the Astros side here. Even the guys that have been sitting on the bench for the Astros are all pretty good players. They've got a pretty deep bench there. And it's not like the Mets, who just clinched a playoff spot, that hasn't been to the playoffs. The Astros have been to the playoffs just about every year. So granted, yes, they had the big celebration, but I think it's a little bit different because most teams, when they have their celebration, it's a celebration on the season. For the Astros, they've got more things they want to accomplish here. So obviously we weren't in the locker room, but you would think they would bounce back a little bit better in this regard. And from a starter standpoint, Dave talked about Shane McClanahan. He's been terrific all season long. He's had a couple situations, shoulder situations, where he hasn't been 100%. But you take a look at the StatCast numbers. Cristian Javier has been excellent all season long. And because he's not the ace of this staff, he is being underrated. You take a look at some of the numbers compared to McClanahan here. The ex-WOBA, 250 for Javier, 248 for McClanahan. Ex-batting average, 173 for Javier, 25 points less than McClanahan's, 198. Slugging, 298, 312. Strikeout rate, Javier's a little bit better, 32.8 to 32.3. So from a starting standpoint, McClanahan's well-known, and he's pitching at home, so you got a lot of people looking to bet that. But to lay this kind of number against this Houston Astros team, even with the backups playing, I couldn't do it. I prefer the Houston side. Obviously, as Dave pointed out, we don't know the exact lineup here. So once that lineup comes out, if you're looking to bet Houston, you'll probably get a better number than what you have right now.
That's a good point, Brian. Market entry point, guys. Maybe wait if you're looking to bet the Astros tonight. Guys, we got a lot of people here in the chat. Jessica, welcome on in. C. James as well saying happy Taco Tuesday. Darren in the house. Martina saying maybe the over for the first 5 innings in this one. Actually, We'll revisit this for best bets. I got something on the first five myself as we'll head to the next game here. AL. What's that, Dave?
I said I wouldn't be going over.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm looking that way either, but that's coming up in 2 games here, guys. We'll head to the AL Central up next. 8:10 Eastern starts, 7:10 local time here, Brian. Minnesota Twins, Kansas City Royals. Zach Greinke on the hill for the Royals. Bundy on the hill for the Twins. Minus 115-ish, minus 112 we'll call it. That's the Twins is the road favorite here. Total of 9. Minnesota's owned this series, Brian, 12-4 over the Royals year to date. Are you liking anything in Kansas City tonight?
Yeah, I believe they have won 7 straight, but all those games are at home. And as we have seen, Minnesota is a different team when they play on the road. And as we all know, I'm a Cleveland fan. I watch all the Cleveland games. And just the expressions on the face, the body language from the Twins after losing that game that went 15 innings the other day told me all I needed to know for the rest of the season against the Twins. This was a team coming into the season, and they had set themselves up. They were winning this division most of the year. They have given up. You could just tell it by the way they look, by the way their body language is. And now they're playing a Kansas City team who, as you mentioned, they dominate. Kansas City, Zach Greinke is probably at the end of his career, at least at the end of his career here in Kansas City. He'll pitch once today and then maybe one other time the rest of the season. I want Kansas City here. Kansas City is a team who is still playing hard. They've got a lot of young players on this team. And as I mentioned, they've lost 7 straight, I believe, to Minnesota. This is a team where I know I'm going to get the better effort out of Kansas City here. Don't think I'm going to get it out of Minnesota. And then from a starter standpoint, Bundy's really got nothing to prove here. He's a guy that he's a veteran. So it's not like a young guy trying to make a mark for next season. So I like Kansas City here. I think this is going to be a popular play, but I like him here. Just from a mental standpoint, you've got to want to play Kansas City and fade Minnesota at this point. And to be totally honest with you, based on what the lines will see the rest of the season, I'm looking to fade Minnesota all the way out.
So am I, Brian. I think there's a few things here. One is the Twins, I think, have waved the white flag. And without Buxton in the lineup, they stink. Okay, their record when he hasn't played is just dismal. Bundy had been running really hot, but has cooled off his last 2 starts. But the main thing here is Greinke. This is, it hasn't been anything official, but I think the sentiment is this is going to be the end for Zach Greinke. So he's got tonight's start, and I would assume, in fact, I'd bet on this, and I'd be on this on Sunday. I would assume he will pitch the Royals' home finale on Sunday against the Mariners. So I want to be on Greinke in these last 2 starts. He's got a big home road split this year anyway. He's been really good at home and not very good on the road. This ballpark suits him. He's a pitch-to-contact guy now, and it's still not an easy ballpark to get huge offense going in. It's a pitcher's park, so it suits Greinke. So I give them the edge on the mound. I want to go against the Twins. The only difference, I guess you like a full game, Brian. You know me. I mean, I just can't get a bullpen right, so I just stay away from them as much as possible. So I could get a small plus on full game, but minus 105 is acceptable to me. I'll go Royals and Zach Greinke first 5 in this game. And that's going to be my best bet here on the show.
Okay, cut out the bullpens there, Dave. Also an interesting note here, guys, 2,088 IL days. That's the Minnesota Twins. How many guys have been on the injured list for the full year? That's number 2 in baseball, only behind the Reds. So they've been really hit by the injury bug. Something to watch tonight, guys. We got 1 game left. Best bets at the end. St. Louis Cardinals, San Diego Padres, Dave. West Coast action here, 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 Pacific. First pitch, Wainwright versus Clevenger. Near a pick'em price here, Dave. Padres minus 110 at home. Total of 8. You liking anything in Petco tonight, Dave?
As far as it being a near pick'em price, yeah, I can certainly see that because this is as pick'em as it gets. I don't really want Wainwright, who's not exactly in sharp form right now. He's been around for a while, and maybe the innings are starting to have an impact. He just hasn't been real good. Clevenger is just not the same guy he was prior to the injuries. Maybe he will be next year, but that's next year. This year, he's been prone to lapses of command, and he's been vulnerable to big innings. I don't know what to do with the Padres at this point. And the Cardinals, I'm not going to say they're just going to coast in, but they've got the division wrapped up. So as much as I have what I think is a good opinion, I hope it's a good opinion on the Royals game, I haven't the slightest idea what to do with this. The Padres are kind of off my sheet right now. How do you figure this team out? Soto is drawing 9 million walks, but he's not hitting the baseball. The bottom of their order's not very good. The bullpen has been sketchy. Starting pitching hasn't been as good as it was earlier. It's a good thing the Brewers are still playing even worse than the Padres because San Diego might sneak in to the playoffs. Otherwise, they've done nothing. None of these three teams, Philadelphia, San Diego, Milwaukee, they're all playing like they want to go golf in October rather than do any playoff baseball. I don't know. I guess it'd be strictly a coin flip with like a 51-49 edge for the Cardinals. Obviously not a bet.
Brian, West Coast action. I mean, one thing towards the Padres, I guess, 12 of their last 15 games at home. And Dave spoke to, the NL wild card a little bit here. The Brewers 2.5 back, Phillies in that last spot. The Padres a half a game up over the Phillies. Important baseball right now for the Padres. I don't know if that's enough to buy on. I guess they've won 3 straight. It's also interesting to note the Atlanta Braves are 11.5 games above the Padres in that first wild card spot. So there's a huge drop off here to these 3 teams kind of duking it out for the last 2 spots in the NL wild card. But hey, Padres minus 110 tonight, Brian, does it interest you?
Slight interest. Dave, I agree with a lot of the things that Dave said. Mike Clevenger came back from Tommy John surgery, and he missed all last year, and he has just not been the same. And Dave talked about next year. I think it's very important. Normally, when you have Tommy John, your first year, you have control problems coming back, and he's got a 7.6 walk rate, and he has not been good. He was a major strikeout contributor for the Indians when he played in Cleveland. 19.7 strikeout percentage, which is only 1.1% better than Wainwright, who we know isn't a strikeout guy anymore. I'm looking to fade Clevenger here. The innings are starting to pile up. He's had 298 batted ball situations this year, so he's getting to the point now, after not playing at all last year, after getting hurt, he's a little bit tired, and you could just see it by when they play. He also has something to look forward to next year with the pitch clock, with the 20-second pitch clock, with all the gyrations and the rolling back and forth that he does. He's going to have to get that in gear before the next season starts, because he's one of the guys I'm kind of worried about there. And there's not too many guys that in baseball that take a long time, but he does take a long time. So it's a situation for me that Clevenger, I think he's got a long off season, and he's not somebody I'm looking to back right now. And the Padres, I don't want any part of. They just have not played what they were expected to do once they made those big trades. Even if they make the playoffs, I don't think anything's going to happen in that regard. I think they're an easy out. And St. Louis is a team that continues to fight. And you've got to realize that Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina are playing their final games in St. Louis the rest of this year. And Pujols right now is on a nice home run streak. And it excites the entire fan base in St. Louis, and obviously excites the St. Louis players. So even though St. Louis has got a little bit of an edge in the division, I think these games mean more going down the stretch for St. Louis, just based on the veterans they have on that team and the leadership they have on that team. And I'm not so sure San Diego has a leadership on that team. So I like St. Louis a little bit, not enough to make it a big bet, but that's the side I would take here as an underdog.
Okay, good stuff, Brian. Guys, check them out, WagerTalk.com. It's time for best bets right now. Again, huge shout out to the chat box, everybody joining us live. Johnny Outlaw, C. James, Jessica. Everyone here in the chat box, feel free to reply below as well what you're looking to bet tonight. Any questions, fire them out. We'll answer them this week on the show, 1:45 Eastern time, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. This is First Pitch. Dave Koken, Brian Leonard, Drew Martin. Guys, check out Dave on WagerTalk.com. His 5% plays for this year, 6-1, 86%. They're rare, but when they're up there, you want to check them out. He's number one at Wager Talk all time in college football profits. Number one, Wager Talk all-time in golf profits. If you're betting the links, check him out as well in a 6-2 start to the NFL season. Check out his all-access package. He's got a Tuesday featured baseball play for the clients. Go pick that up. Dave, throw it over to you. Final thoughts for the show, and if you could recap your best bet.
Well, you just got the Tuesday featured baseball play because it's the Royals' first five. So don't buy that. I want to talk about the all-access for a second. I have a 5% play in college football this week. First one of the season. Love this game. I set it out. All my all-access guys, if you're an all-access subscriber, you got it Sunday night. By Monday morning, it had already moved 2 points from where I posted it. So we had it up as the $9 play. And then I told Johnny and the staff about 11 o'clock in the morning, you got to pull the package down because the line's going up another 2 points. This line's already moved 4 points from where it was when, if you're an all-access customer, you got it on Sunday night. It was widely available at that price on Sunday night. This is the reason you buy the all-access. You're going to get plays before anybody else, and you're going to get them at the right price. It's as simple as that. So, anyway, outside of that, I have one other game up in college football. I'll be adding a couple. It's not going to be a big card this week. Haven't gotten to the NFL yet, but I'm very happy with the way that started. And best bet here is Royals first five. If you go into the analysis, go back to that clip earlier, and I'll post the clip on Twitter once we're done with the show and once Chris has it all lined up, or Kyle, I'm not sure who's taking care of the production today. By the way, got to mention this. Our behind-the-scenes staff, that includes Rob, who produces this show every day, and, of course, Joe Ranieri, who's both on camera and off camera. These guys are the cream of the crop. I mean, and Lexi, I left her off. Absolutely incredible, the job they've done. And we've got a big roster and a lot of videos that we shoot during the course of the week. I don't know how much they're getting paid, but Johnny, it's not enough. Give them all a raise. I can guarantee you once Christmas rolls around, I'm going to get Christmas bonuses to all you guys because you deserve it. Absolutely phenomenal. Our behind-the-scenes staff at Wager Talk.
Absolutely, Dave. Chris Allen, James Bunting, Melissa, Missy, all of them for sure. Really talented people behind the scenes at Wager Talk there, and Johnny Detroit as well. We got best bets, guys. That was a tough follow, but try to do it here. Give you a winner. Houston Astros, Tampa Bay Rays, even though I hope it's a winner. Nothing guaranteed in this business. We got, look, the Rays minus 150, total of 6.5. I'm actually going to the first five here, and I'm going to try to get out ahead of the market. I haven't seen a lineup for the Astros just yet tonight, but they just clinched the division last night in their 4-0 win. I think they're going to sit some guys here. And when you look at this pitching matchup, using that in our back pocket as well, we get Cristian Javier. His batting average against is the second lowest in all of MLB, only behind Tony Gonsolin with a 180 batting average against. And we get Shane McClanahan for the Rays. His OPS against is 523. That's one of the tops in MLB as well. So I think these two starting pitchers on the hill, we get the Astros with likely, a B performance, a B team out there, a total of 3. I know it's low, but it's low for a reason, guys. I'm going first 5 under 3 in the Astros-Rays game. 640, almost a happy hour special there in the Trop tonight. So throw it over here to Brian Leonard. He's number 1, guys, in NHL net profit last 5 years combined. Number 1 this year net profit on 4% releases. You want those 4% from Brian. And he knows his college basketball, obviously knows his MLB as well. Check him out, Brian Leonard, WagerTalk.com. Brian, any final thoughts for the show, and where are you going for best bets?
Well, first of all, I'd like to agree with what Dave said. The girls in the office who answer all the phone calls that Dave and I used to do years and years ago deserve a raise, because we're not always going to win. And when we lose, people are upset, and those poor girls got to put up with that. But, just a great company to work for, and I wish them all the best. 4% play and a 5% play in college football I've loaded already for this weekend. I did use 3 baseball plays who happen to be the same 3 we talked about on this show, so no need to buy those today. But my best bet, as we talked about, Kansas City Royals looking to fade the Minnesota Twins, whose season is over. Just a couple of weeks ago, this was a team that was winning this division, and Dave mentioned it. Once their best player went out, they just have not played well. Now, some of the other guys, I think, have really looked good. I think Gordon's really played well down the stretch. I think he's going to have a big part of this team next year. But, yeah, I like Kansas City. Greinke pitching at home. They've got something to play for. Give me Kansas City here is a nice little situation, and let's hope we sweep the board.
Brian and Leonard on the Royals there, plus 102. Dave Koken, first 5, minus 105. Astros Rays, first 5, under 3, minus 110 for myself. For Dave Koken, Brian Leonard, I am Drew Martin. Guys, check out WagerTalk.com, $2 Tuesday. Good day to check it out. And that's going to do it for the show. Best of luck with your bets. Thanks for tuning in. Please smash that like button. We'll talk tomorrow. Same time, same place. Best of luck until then.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.